The Labyrinth of the Ancients. Having broken the barriers of the 8 sentinels, the sons of Saint Cognac made ready to enter the Crystal Tower, only to be met with a formidable obstacle in the form of the Labyrinth of the Ancients. Hi, I'm Tyler, Final Fantasy XIV player and amateur bartender, and I've made it my mission to craft a cocktail for every dungeon in the game. But the Labyrinth of the Ancients isn't a dungeon, it's an alliance raid. So I'm going to need to make a punch. Welcome to a Cocktail Reborn. Let's get started. It's weird that, of all the Crystal Tower raids, the first one still has most of its boss mechanics intact. Over the years, I've seen more people wipe to the King Behemoth fight than I have to current content. Of course, I don't do Savage, but that's a whole other thing. By the time I finally got to endgame in A Realm Reborn, World of Darkness had already dropped, but people were still running Labyrinth of the Ancients in order to get upgrade items for tome gear, so it was never hard to get in. It was hard, however, to get everyone to do the mechanics correctly. I don't know why, but those first 2 rooms of trash would end up kicking our trash pretty regularly. And I can't even tell you how many times people had to be told to keep the gargoyles separated from the bomb in the center of the room. In fact, when I was running this dungeon to get footage, we nearly wiped to the Behemoth again. While this is definitely the red-headed stepchild of the Crystal Tower series, I wanted to give each of the bosses a little love in the form of inspiration for this punch. Let's craft. Punch is probably the oldest mixed drink, dating back to as early as the 1600s. So, since this is the Labyrinth of the Ancients, I took inspiration from an old world style punch, specifically the Charles Dickens punch. The Bone Dragon is essentially a zombie, and one of my favorite tiki drinks is the zombie. So that's the first place I took inspiration. Actually, I took inspiration somewhere else first, but we'll get to that when we get to it. The zombie drink was created by Don the Beachcomber and made with 3 different rums: a Jamaican rum, a Puerto Rican or column still rum, and an overproof Demerara rum. I would have loved to have used Ray and Nephew here, as it is my favorite Jamaican rum for a zombie, but I have maybe an ounce left and they stopped carrying it at my liquor store. So I went with Meyer's Original Dark. It's got enough funk to it that it can stand up to the rest of the ingredients in here, and it's still pretty tasty. For my column still, I went with Flor de Cana 4-year. It's got some nice caramel notes that really complement the Demerara. And speaking of Demerara, I used Lemon Heart 151. For Thanatos, the great knight surrounded by magic pots, I wanted something associated with nobility, and I thought it would be nice to have a wine-based representation here. So we're going with Cognac. I used Courvoisier for the knight himself, and falernum for the elixir the magic pots desire. For the King Behemoth, I wanted something that would leave a strong impression without overwhelming the rest of the drink. So I went with black tea, specifically rooibos tea. It's got a nice earthy flavor that works very well here. For poor Phlegethon, the people's champion forced to guard the tower against his will, with his yellow complexion and sour look on his face, we have lemon juice. And, inspired by the death claws that come after the party during the ancient flare attack, I've made an Olio sacrum from the Buddha's hand I used for the Castrum Meridianum. An Olio sacrum is a combination of citrus peels and sugar, where the sugar leaches the oils out of the peels and makes a very nice syrup that is a base for many a punch. You can use a lemon Olio sacrum if you can't get a hold of a Buddha's hand. It just won't be as floral. Recipe in the description. First, we'll put the Olio sacrum in the bowl. You'll want a metal or other heat-proof bowl for this. Next, we add 1 cup of our Jamaican rum, 1 cup of our column still rum, and a half cup of the Demerara. Next, we need our ancient flare. So get out a torch and light those spirits. Let it burn for a little bit, as this will help to further melt any sugars that didn't dissolve before. Pour in 5 cups of the rooibos tea to douse the flames. Then a 1/4 cup of falernum, and finally, half a cup of lemon juice. Give it all a good stir, and put some ice in the bowl. I should have prepared one big block for this in order to reduce dilution, but my recording window came up really fast, so I had to make do. Load some lemon slices. I used all of one lemon for this, and a few star anise pods on the top. Get out a ladle and your favorite glass, and here we have the Labyrinth of the Ancients. Let's give it a taste.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Did you know that I film these videos 3 at a time? And usually, I've got at least 2 videos in queue when one goes live? Well, thanks to hitting 1,000 subscribers, I've finally decided to create a Patreon. Right now, all that's going to be on it is early access to videos, but eventually I will be posting some of my favorite cocktails, not just Final Fantasy XIV related, and some things that are a little offbeat that I don't think will do as well on the main channel. Maybe some shots based on primals. Maybe I'll put some of the 0 ABV cocktails on there. Who knows? I might even do cocktails for other games. I have been playing video games since the 80s, so there's a lot. But you can sign up in the link in the description for this video, and let's continue with the cocktail. All right. Let's get a bit of lemon in there too. And let's get one of the anise pods. This is my very first time trying this because I only had the one Buddha's Hand Olio sacrum. So let's give it a try. Wow. That turned out way better than I thought it was going to. Wow! That is fun. Okay. So, first thing you taste is black tea. You get the black tea, you get the Olio sacrum, the Buddha's Hand is very present here. You could go with a lemon Olio sacrum. It'll still be nice and citrus and floral, but it won't quite reach the same level of aromatics, and that's fine. The rums are very present. It gives me some zombie vibes, especially since I also put in the falernum. So the Bone Dragon is very well represented in here. I was originally going to put absinthe in, but decided at the last minute to do the star anise pods instead, and I think that was a good call, because you don't want a lot of anise flavor. It'll kind of overpower everything. So, Cognac's present at the very back. Yep, there it is. Just kind of breathing across my palate on the back there. Overall, this is great. I would be proud to serve this at a party. And I'm gonna get these ice cubes out so I don't dilute it further and stick it in a bottle and invite my friends over. So there it is, the Labyrinth of the Ancients. Cheers. And that is the Alliance Punch for the Labyrinth of the Ancients. Please leave a comment below if you decide to make this drink. I'll be putting the specs for a single serving down in the description. Please like, share, and subscribe, and make sure you hit that notification bell. A lot of people aren't getting these videos on their feed. Oh, that turned out good. Thanks for watching. If you're watching this the day it comes out, tomorrow is FanFest. Come and see me. I'll be wearing my hat. Stay tuned for the next one, which is going to be another surprise before I get back to the main grind, as it were, of the post ARR patches. And until then, may Graha Tia visit you in your dreams. Cheers.